Bogardt is a real gamer, and a real gamer would only play a real game system like the Powkiddy A12. He also likes the name. Except it's not Kitty, it's Kitty. Sorry about that, Bogardt.
Retro Rob plays everything.
Hey there gamers, Retro Rob here, and I've got another unboxing for you. This one's going to be a little bit different because number one, the box is big, and number two, sadly, the box was damaged in transit. The good news is, I took a peek in here, the item is okay, but what we're looking at is the big brother to one of the mini arcades that I covered a while back. I believe these are Open Dingus based. I'm pretty sure. As I recall, we know what my memory's worth, though. So, who knows? It might be a Pandora's box. I don't know. But anyway, we're going to take a look at this guy. But the first thing I kind of want to show you is, look at some of the art on this. It is some bizarre art. I don't hate it, but it's kind of strange. There's like kids playing marbles, a kid riding a bike, and I don't know how it relates to this device. Also, look at the faces of the kids playing the game system. Or, well, in the game system. They're like trapped inside it. Odd stuff. Alright, so here's what we have. I'm gonna open it up, which I'm sure you expected. There's what it looks like in the box. And it does come with, I'll zoom in on these in a minute. It comes with a manual and a cable, and I'm not sure what the cable's for. My mouth is agape. That was nice. Good visual. Good visual. Anyway, let's pull the device itself out. Again, this is another one of these deals where I know nothing about it. I was allowed to pick it out though, which is kind of nice. One of my contacts over at TomTop said, pick out a couple things that you want to try out. And I said, all right, I'm picking this. And this I picked. I think it looks pretty cool. Okay, first things first, it's battery powered. That's pretty nice. Oh, I'm gonna like this probably. I like this kind of thing in general. Also, there's a speaker on the back, which is kind of weird. All right, look, I'll go put it on the table and we'll look at it. But first, let's talk about some of the accessories. All right, first things first, we have this quality control tag. I'm glad to hear it passed. And then we've got operating instructions for the device itself. Does not appear to be in English. Let's check the other side. Oh yeah, it's in English. Very nice. And it actually has everything labeled. Oh, pretty cool. Unusually well-written manual for this kind of thing. I'm getting more excited. I was pretty excited about this item going in anyway. You know, I did choose it after all, so... Anyway. Hopefully it will keep up with its excitement, or my excitement, and not be a big disappointment. USB-C to USB charger. These have been getting much better over the last year, I've noticed. The first ones were really pretty cheap. These are pretty well built. They feel solid. It's nice stuff. Alright, let's go pull out the machine itself. Alright, so first things first, it's pretty dang big. Man, there's a retro arcade I did a few months ago and you can see it absolutely dwarfs it. It's a pretty significant piece of equipment. Alright, looking at the deck, we've got to select a start. I believe that's like a back or a menu button. We've got the... This is a volume control. And I think they also double, if I read the manual right, as the coin buttons, these two, the coin and start button. And then of course we have A, B, Y, X, and R, L. So I'm gonna guess this might do some Famicom? I think so. Anyway, buttons. They feel pretty good. They're not amazing quality, but they definitely don't feel like total junk. I'm a big fan of concave buttons over convex, but that's because I grew up with American arcades in the 80s, which had them. So this is really a more legitimate type of button. It actually feels pretty good. And then the other thing is, let's turn over here and take a look at this. I believe the shaft for this is actually made out of metal, which is a big deal to me. I really do not like plastic on these joysticks, and I'm very happy to say that this sucker is metal. So not bad. Hold on a second, let's look at the side of it. There is the side of it, and it looks very 80s, doesn't it? Reminds me of the 80s. By the way, the plastics, quite good. They're heavy, does not feel like cheap brittle stuff. I'm really, again, I'm very impressed with the stuff coming out of China now. It doesn't feel as cheap as it used to. This stuff feels a lot more heavy, a lot more like it's built to last for a little while. And then looking at the back, we have an HDMI out, which I had heard about. There's a couple of USB ports, maybe for joysticks. It did not include any. And then we have a TF card. We got some headphone jacks there. And it's a, I mean, there is a TF card in there, but it's a TF, card port. And then of course we have the charging port right there, on off button. And let's go to the bottom, because the only thing I really want to show you on the bottom here, let's see if we can back out a little bit. There we go. 6 rubberized feet on the bottom. They appear to have a protector on them, so you might want to take that off, because otherwise it won't stick. So this will keep it on the table, hopefully pretty well. Alright, so first time startup. It looks like I got a low battery, so I'm going to have to go take care of that shortly. But that's okay, it gives me time to test it out before I get back to you. Looks like we've got history. I'm gonna guess that's like a history of the games you played, game, movie. Yeah, I guess you could watch a movie on this. A file browser, and a settings section. And we'll go through all of those for what you will think is but a minute. But for me, it's gonna be a little while.
Thumbs up, comment, and subscribe, or I will go Skynet on your butt.
Alright folks, for you it has been but a moment, but for me it's been about a week and a half. And I believe I can probably speak on this device pretty knowledgeably. First thing I want you to know is that right now I'm using the HDMI out. That works absolutely fine. Played a couple games on it. Seems okay. We'll be recording much of this video using the HDMI out function. The other thing I do want to note is it will take external controllers. I'll try and source the ones that I'm using. It did not use an Xbox 360 controller when I tested it out, but it did use my ones from other handhelds, so we'll see how that goes. And again, I'll put it in the comments down below if I source the correct controller. First things first, let's go into history. This is a history of what games I've played. kind of a hint for you as to what games will be shown during this video. You got the game section. We'll go over that in a minute, because we're going to show you how to make some changes. By we, I mean me and the voices in my head. Movie. You can play movies on this, MP4s. I don't know why you'd want to do it, but I am going to note that it works pretty well. I've had problems with mega stuttery playback on the handhelds. This thing seems to do it just fine. By the way, I'm not 100% sure what OS this thing's running yet. It's embedded, so it is, I'll show you in a minute. RetroArch is in here though, and that's what's basically pushing everything. So I'm guessing it's Linux backend of some kind. But then again, that covers a lot of ground. I shouldn't have side noted there, because you really need to know this. File. If you install a game, it will not show up in your game list. So if you drop something in the ROMs directory, it's not going to show up in the games list unless you do some edits, which I'm going to show you how to do, by the way, because there's a lot that should be shaken up in this when you get it. But if you're feeling kind of lazy, not really lazy, if you just don't feel like doing the editing required, you can just go in here and run a game directly by browsing to it. By the way, this is a very useful process to go through before you add a ROM to a list. Make sure it runs okay on here, okay? Don't don't go through all the trouble of adding something to the list that doesn't work. So test it here first, then add it to the list. Anyway, there's F1 race, and I'm gonna get out of that by hitting the back button here, which isn't on the controller, unfortunately. Darn it, I hit the wrong button. The buttons, by the way, are reversed on the handheld controller. Like the A and the B. Drives me crazy. Alright. And we'll back out of this. Get back. There we go. Finally, we have settings. Doing a wonderful job here. Language. Note that English is the third language, and if yours is set to Chinese for some reason or Japanese, that's where you go to change it. Then we've got display. This is important. Full screen will stretch your games when you're playing it, and equal proportion. English again. Nothing but trouble for me. All right. Equal proportion, we'll put it in 4:3 mode. And to me, that looks better. You may feel differently. That is absolutely fine. We're all allowed to have our own opinions on that. Okay, theme. That just changes the background theme. I'm playing with the idea of changing these themes out so I can have my own custom theme on it. And I will cover that probably in a future video. Backlight, timeout, and then a couple more options. Not as exciting. All right, now let's go back to the game section, and we're going to talk a little bit. All right, number one, right now my device is under construction, so there's some things that don't work. However, this is very similar to how it looks when you get the system, because I pretty much left the CPS section alone. Some things to note is that it's not all CPS games. This is kind of a mix of different games from all systems. I'm going to go back. There's 633 games in this section by default. This is by far the largest section of them all. And yeah, quite a bit of stuff in here, ranging a whole bunch of areas. But you'll notice when I go back here that some of it is in, not English. Okay, the ROMs themselves appear, most of them appear to have been English ROMs. So what I did is I went into the XML and I edited it. And you can see right here, I changed this one to say Metal Slug, so that it's Metal Slug. Now, before I go through the rest of the sections, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut away to something I recorded earlier about how to add things to the menus and edit them. And then I'll be right back. All right, folks, now I'm going to show you how to add a new ROM to the system. This can also work for making corrections to the ROM names within the menu system. I'll show you basically how to do that. It'll be pretty easy. If you don't understand what you're seeing here, it might be best to not do it because you can really mess up here. So this is an area I really want you to pay attention to. Of course, the TF card is located in the back of the unit. You pull it out, basically put it into an adapter in your laptop, desktop, whatever. This works on Mac, whatever. There is nothing special about the file system. It's not a Linux-based file system, at least not on the card. So it's just a basic FAT, so you don't have to worry about anything there. But you'll probably want to copy the whole thing before you start messing with it. In case something goes horribly wrong, you can always just drag that mess onto a TF card and use it. One great way to do it is if you have the capability of copying from one TF to the other, just do it that way. Make yourself a backup card, test your backup, and then start messing with it. But I want you to take away, why I'm saying all this is make a backup of your card one way or another. I totally didn't. Deleted a bunch of ROMs because I assumed, hey, I'm an expert here. I know what I'm doing. And deleted a bunch of ROMs that I was going to need later. So That's kind of a bummer. Yeah. Anyway, don't worry about it though. You're not going to do that because I told you not to, right? Anyway, adding ROMs themselves is pretty simple. You go into the game folder and you go into the proper subdirectory. So Neo Geo's and Neo Geo. If I wanted to copy over baseball 2020 Super Baseball or whatever it is, I would just drag it over. You wouldn't get the message to overwrite unless it was already there. So that's that simple. The problem is that you will need to add it to an XML file in order for it to show up in the menu system. Now, you can browse to it using the built-in file browser. I don't know if I've shown you that yet. If I didn't, I definitely will, because I don't really know where this video is going to fit, this section of the video is going to fit in the overall video yet. But note that you can just browse to ROMs and open them if you want. So you don't have to edit anything really if you want to add games. But if you want them to show up in the menu, you've got to do what I'm going to show you now, at least with this version of the firmware. And so far, there's no other version yet because the device is relatively new. And if there is a new version of the firmware out, let me know in the comments down below so I can do an update video on this. All right, settings. That's where I'm going. I'm going to go into RES, Neo Geo. 2 notes. There's a pick section. This is where the photo of the game is that displays on the right-hand side of the screen. You have to name it for the name of the zip. So Bang Beat here. It's going to be Bang Beat zip in the ROMs directory, and so does bangbead.png. Capitalization absolutely matters, has to match. It's almost always lowercase in the case of most ROMs though, because this thing is basically Linux based. All right, next we got this string area here. What I want you to do is make a copy of this file right away before you even edit it. You can do it right here. I mean, you just do a copy and a paste, and you made a copy, change that to .old, make it look like the other file. It's super easy. I've done it right here. So just right click and rename. No big deal. If you're in the Mac, you can do duplicate command and then do the same thing. It'll do basically the same thing. So you can edit this on a Mac, no problem. Now we're going to look into the game strings. And here we go. This is the meat and potatoes. I have completely changed this one. By the way, if you want copies of my XML files as I go on, I will be, if I can, I'm going to paste this as comments in the video. If I cannot, I will place some links to where you can download them. These are not perfect, but all the games that I put in here will work if you have the right ROMs. Because not all games work on this system, so you're going to want to curate. Anyway, at the top, most important thing is, see that ROMs total right here where it says 41? That's because I have 41 ROMs. If I put 39 here, it would only show 39 of my ROMs. It's useful if you're working on a section you don't want it to show yet. You can basically count back. So say I've got like 5 ROMs I'm still kind of playing with, and I don't really want them to show. I could, what did I say, 5 ROMs? I don't even know what I just said. Anyway, all right, say I had like 3, then I would down the count to 38. And then those last 3 down here would not show up, even though they're on different pages. Each page is represented by the tags icon page and then a slash to end it. And then each entry is in order. See that icon 0, icon 1, icon 3, 4, 5. And basically you put the names in here. And just copy and paste and just make sure that these numbers are right. One thing that I noticed that I did, it's really odd. If you do not put zip on it, for whatever reason, I think it's how it pulls the string. For whatever reason though, the picture won't show up. So if you're getting frustrated and a picture of the game won't show up, just check to make sure you put that .zip, because it'll load the game anyway, but it won't show the photo for it. which is weird, but it is what it is. All right, so let's go take a look real quick at my ROMs, and let's go. Oop, back. Yeah, doing great. Doing great on this video. Neo Geo ROMs, and I don't know whether some of these work or not because I haven't tested every one. But say I wanted to add, all right, Z blade to the end of this. So I know that Z blade zip right there, right? I just copy it. I don't know if you want to do that. It's just the way I work, you know? Actually, I copied at the wrong point because I'm talking. This always happens too. All right, so I know I want an icon 1. So I'm going to take this. Copy. And paste it. Space that out. I like it to look neat, so that's why I do that. I don't think it's actually necessary. I've had it kind of messed up before. And then, see, this is the problem. Copy. Okay, I know the name of it. So I'm going to change the zip. And this is what I always do. I accidentally overwrite the zip. There we go. So Z blade. And then how I want it to appear. So that's Z blade and then Z blade game. And I'm going to save it. Okay. And then I'm going to up the count by 1. 42, isn't that the meaning of life? The universe and everything? I think so. So now I got 42. I got Z blade in there in the wrong spot, by the way. That annoys the heck out of me. All right, so, you know, this is me going nuts. I don't think Z blade works on here, but so we might run into that because I didn't pre-test that. And copy. And watch your stuff here, okay? So make sure it all looks good. You've got your game path, you got icon 1, icon 0. Yep, that looks good. All right, let's file save that. I'm gonna have to fix that later. I should have made a backup. I should have listened to myself and made a backup before I did this, but all right, so now we got Zoopapa. Just a quick note from future Rob here. This data that I left on the bottom, this little pile of junk, is no big deal because it's past the end of strings and resources. So anything past here doesn't really matter. You can type whatever you want. That said, for the sake of cleanliness, really you should delete all that unless you're actively working on it. I happen to keep a bunch of arcade screenshots online, so are with me. But you can search the internet for them. Just make sure it's in a PNG format. So I'm gonna look up Z blade, and there's Z blade, and I will take that. I'm saying this is a lot of work. I'm not kidding you. It is a bit of work, but the results are pretty good. All right, so next we're gonna go to settings and then res, and then Neo Geo and pick, and then I'm gonna drag Z blade ping into this directory, and now it should show up as long as I remembered to add zip to the bottom of it. Oops, sorry, zip to the bottom of it. All right, there we go. Let's check it out. All right, let's go over to Neo Geo. And I'll scroll up to the bottom, and you can see there's Z blade right there. Let's see if it runs. Again, no idea. And it does. Bonus. Yet again proving that lucky can sometimes trump actual planning. Z-Blade! Alright, so some notes about how things are stored by default. The CPS section to me seems to have pretty much all the arcade ROMs in it. So I would say there's probably about 633 arcade ROMs total. They seem to be repeated in FBA and then repeated again in the Neo Geo section in no particular order. So that's what it is. But it isn't because, of course, as I showed you, you can alter them. So one of the first sections that I completed was the Famicom section because we had Mech Night coming up. Actually, no, it wasn't Mech Night. It was Heavy Metal Night was up with Lords of the Trident. They were live streaming last weekend. So I wanted to bring this out there because we play a bunch of arcade games and stuff. And I wanted to show them this along with some games. And one of the games I wanted to show was Holy Diver because it's a heavy metal game by any definition. So this is a finished section, and I think it looks really good. A little bit of elbow grease. All right, fine, a lot of elbow grease. And this thing just looks really awesome. So what I'm going for with mine is I'm just going to have like a few of my personal favorites in each section. Not a lot for these, to be honest, because this is not a finished section. Because I'm not a huge fan of playing handheld and you know, like classic console games on this. Boy, I'm having a day with the speech. I'm tired. All right, Game Boy Color. There is Game Gear section. There's what 99 games on here. Oop, did I go through how many were on there? 164 Game Boy Color games. Back to the Mega Drive over here. By the way, you could probably customize the text in here. As I recall, I saw that while I was messing around. And there's only 28 games for the Mega Drive on here. And Neo Geo, I customized. Rob, come on. Neo Geo. There, I customized. And this is my Neo Geo collection. Always test the games before you put them in here. Don't do what I did and have like 6 games that didn't work. It's kind of arbitrary about what games work and what games don't. You're wondering, yes, I'm going to be doing some gameplay soon. Like Neo Bomberman worked, but Neo Mr. Do didn't. Annoying. I was going to go see if there's a version that worked, but all these games work. And I've tested. So pretty nice. And if you're interested, of course, I will make those available. I'll make my lists available. Can probably make the screenshots available too, because I think they're publicly available too. And I'll try and put them in the comments. I think I said that already, but that area might get cleared out. By the way, this is the default stuff that's on the PlayStation emulator. We will play something on there. Do not worry. And finally, Super Famicom. And that comes by default with 311. And by all means, you could use this unedited, or you could just take and go through the list and correct the names. You can do it pretty easily by the name of the ROM. So, pretty easy to do, but just some time-consuming stuff. And I think we've walked through all the emulators. If I missed one, let me know in the comments down below, or you want a count of how many originally were on there, with the exception of Neo Geo, which unfortunately I don't have the ROM count for anymore. I edited that one before I knew what horrors I was about to face in editing. All right. I think I covered everything. Good. Let's go on and actually play some games on this thing. Great. You hear that? That is the sound of a decent speaker. My God, what do you know? This is probably the first time I've ever actually said this is a solid speaker on one of these units. This is a solid speaker. This actually sounds good, and I'm not the only one who says so. I've had 3 people that I've shown it to all say without prompting, hey, the sound's pretty good on this. And it is. It's got some decent bass. No, it's not gonna be like a Bose speaker or something, okay? But it does have like clear tone and deep bass. It sounds like an arcade game from the 80s or early 90s. Really nice job on the sound. This is, like I said, first time I have not been horribly offended by the sound. Alright, it's not the first time I haven't been horribly offended, but it's the first time I've gone out of my way to say, this is pretty good. By the way, this game is 3 wonders. And I've played it like, I don't know, 100 times on this channel. And you'd think I'd get better at it, right? Not gonna happen. Look out! Yeah, pulled that off. Anyway, controls work very well. The stick specifically is really quite good. The buttons feel okay. They feel like arcade buttons. But maybe not the highest quality. They're definitely like near arcade, but not quite there. But they definitely feel good. They feel a lot better than pretty much any other of the mini arcades I've tried. It at least feels right. And this seems to run pretty well. Finally, the screen, I have it in 4:3. I'll show you a game in stretched next. Just to show you what that looks like. But I think all in all, the screen's pretty nice. I've heard a couple of complaints about the screen, and I don't think I agree with them. Number one, because I think for like an 80s, 90s game, it looks about as close as an LCD can look to the right look, and I think the color's quite nice. It doesn't have amazing contrast, but really not bad. Alright, let's go on. Alright, so I wanted to show you Double Dragon 3 here, because it is pretty rough. As you can see, it runs really chunky, and every once in a while I'll run into a game like this, but not real often. It'll either completely run great, or it won't run at all. Usually doesn't end up in the middle like this one does. But I don't think it would be fair to show you all like really good emulation and then, you know, well, other than the Game Boy, really good emulation, and then, you know, you want to play Double Dragon 3 and you can't. That said, Double Dragon 1 and 2 work just fine, so it is what it is. My men will teach you a lesson. Here we have Cadillacs and Dinosaurs, which, you know, is just one of the best dang fighting games in history. Come on, die. Go, go, go! And it doesn't look too bad in widescreen. Some games look fine, like this one does, and other ones look massively distorted. It just really depends on the game. But I don't think this is too bad. I would probably be able to play it like this and not complain too much. Die. And get that. Yeah, you brought a fist to a gunfight, buddy. Alright, this is a good time to note I can save my state. And then there, I can load my state and be right back at the same spot. That works, and that's really nice to have on arcade games. Because of course that wasn't a real feature of arcade games. Come on. And I'm gonna play until I get to beat up a dino. There we go. Dinosaur to beat up. I like how he angers the dinosaur by punching it. Dino PETA would not approve. Telling you, problems speaking all day today. Get out of here. No actual dinosaurs were hurt in this video. Ah, quit jumping. That guy's named Vice T. Throw him at his friends. He is not, like, taking damage like you would think. Huh. Oh! That's because he beat the crap out of me in the early part of this. Come on, you. Now he's taking some damage. Bunch of sumus. Playing bad today. There we go. Donut. Mmm, tasty. Come on, you. Oh, really? I like the way he runs at me with that fist. Come here, you. Ah, again! Playing bad. And I just ran out of luck. Let's go on. F1 race. I've got another handheld Famiclone coming for like the first time in a long time. So I might as well get myself ready. The mind is willing, but the body is weak. Here we go. And it looks and plays pretty good, which is, of course, expected. By pretty, I mean it just seems right. So, nothing wrong. Again, you know, my thing is that I prefer when it's a mini arcade to play arcade games on it. Hey, you might feel differently. That's fine. Nothing wrong with that. Here we go. Live and let live, I say. Come on. But no reversals. One of the problems that Famiclones have is on these games, after the first turn, it will reverse the controls. Really weird issue, but not on this, which is to be expected. Alright, let's go on. Okay, a little Wario on the Game Boy. I don't know why, but Game Boy never feels quite right to me when it's emulated. I don't know, is it just me? Actually, I should say often doesn't feel right emulated. Just, you know, I don't know, just that little bit off. I've had a couple handhelds that did it right. He's got a pointy stick, man. Back here with your pointy stick. Come on. Come on. Pointy stick that, buddy. Ha! Well, I guess I'm going up here. Don't come off of there. Oop. Dum 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 dum. Dum 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 dum. There we go. Come on, you Viking. It's Viking Wario. You know, I don't think I've ever actually played this game on the real thing. I think I've only played this emulated. I'm gonna have to go look it up. I do have a Game Boy. Oop. Well, this is how I'm playing today. Just awful. I'm always happy when Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is presented as a beat 'em up, because it's the way the Turtles were born to be. Just saying. I mean, why platformers? Why? Look at this happy-go-lucky greatness. Heck yes. There we go. Go, go, go! That's why I like fighting games. It's just the go, go, go. I wait for that. Every fighting game should have go, go, go. There should be an Inspector Gadget fighting game. Go, go, Gadget. Let's see how many people get that one. Anyway, it's a bad joke. It was a dad joke to start with, and then adding it to the somewhat relative obscurity of the show I was referencing. Oh well. This video is Matthew Broderick approved. See, just keep digging that. Digging that hole in my references. Hey, this game's pretty good. That makes the second game that I've played on this thing that I've decided to check out on the original platform. This is playing fine, though. I'm enjoying it. Of course, as always with Game Boy Advance, depending on the game, mileage may vary. Go, go! Alright, I'm going. Let's go on. It's Street Fighter on Game Boy Color. Street Fighter Alpha on Game Boy Color. That makes it even better. So, I've got 2 buttons. How am I supposed to do anything? Wait. Can I flash kick? Come on. Wait. No, I cannot flash. Oh, no. Might be a timing thing. Anyway, I guess they have Game Boy Color games on here. I'm often asked why I don't do fighter games when I'm testing these, so beware what you ask for. Just saying. Okay, I'm going through Game Gear right now, and I just want to point out, like, a lot of the games you can't tell what they are. So it's another big argument for going through these ROMs and adding English names to them. I'm assuming maybe these are Star Trek games, or these are Star Trek games, but who knows. You'll just have to run them and find out. It looks like on this they have some Game Gear mixed with some Master System. That's common because they use the same emulator on a lot of platforms, so, you know, fine. I'm okay with that. Here we have some Paperboy. I don't think I've played this version of Paperboy. I've run out of papers. Oh, man. Ooh, that was... Man, the speed is brutal on this. Oh, I'm playing this really poorly, too. Well, why stop playing stuff like crap? Yeah. I was supposed to get that one. I'm going to lose a lot of subscribers. I can tell you that. Oh! Nope. Window. This is about as well as I played it in the arcade. To be honest, This is a pretty accurate simulation of what being a paperboy was like. Also, are there really paperboys anymore? Has this game lost its relevance? It may have. I don't think there's paperboys anymore. There's very few papers, and I'm pretty sure they're delivered all by truck now. Right? Huh. Anybody out there's kid is a paperboy? Let me know. I want to know. Is that a thing anymore? Or has this game really just lost all relevance? Oh, I can't believe I missed that jump. I can't believe I did that. All except 2 canceled their subscription. Good job. Wow. This is amazing. All right. I was shocked there for a second. Actually, a very nice looking game. Some Boogerman rejects there. What does this have to do with McDonald's at all? I mean, there's... I don't know. I'm wowed by this game. How have I not run into this one before? Amazing. I don't really... I have 5 M's. So your weapon drops off, but if he gets hit by the drop off, they die too. That's interesting. There's not been a lot of variety so far in the enemies, you know? Oops. Will this level ever end? Why are the M's green? Be careful. Well, I will be. And here we have Shock Troopers. By the way, if you're wondering, if I have 2 controllers in here, indeed, I can play 2 players. So, that's a big plus, too. Time for some killing. This game could have easily been a dual stick game, but since I don't have 2 sticks, I'm playing it like this. Ugh. Come on. You fools need to go. Man, the mountain route must be the hard route. There we go. Massive destruction! Which is what the Neo Geo is great at. Come on, you. Ah! No. Fire! Fire! Life up! 64. Come on, you. Oh, no, you don't. Oh, got me. There we go. Took down a plane. Time for some Tekken. This is game system appropriate. I think I'm going to load this with some more PlayStation ISOs. Because I think that there's a lot of good, like, arcade-style games that would go good with this. I haven't messed with this much. Oddly, the picture they use is from King of Fighters, so... Just totally the same game, I mean, you know. Don't be messing with my man, Paul Phoenix. Another... I had this thumbs up thing going. No idea. Never screw with a guy with a sword. Yoshimitsu! There you go. I wonder if Soul Edge plays on this. Yeah, Soul Edge came out for this, didn't it? It did. I think I'm gonna have to put that on here. That would play pretty good. Look at that! 2 fighting games in one video, folks. That's gotta be a record for me. I almost never do a fighting game, let alone 2. This one I used to play with my brother-in-law a lot, though. Good stuff. Hey, and it plays great. So that's a big plus. Zombies ate my neighbor. Zzz. They ate more than one neighbor. One thing I wanted to know is whether the characters disappeared when you selected them, which is a thing on Super Nintendo emulators, but not on this one. So that's good. Alright, let's get a grip on where the buttons are. This would have made a good arcade game. Everything's about where I expect it to be. Eat it. I often have complaints about playing gamepad games with joysticks and vice versa, but this seems to work pretty good. Somebody in the pool. Can't get over how good the joystick is on this. It's really good. I mean, for a fairly inexpensive device, this joystick is pretty great. Alright, I got one more thing to show you before we close things up. Someone always asks, can it play Doom? And yes, it can. This is, by the way, the Game Boy Advanced version of Doom. I'm pretty sure it could play the PlayStation version if I could get an ISO version of it. It does not like bin and Q files. So I'd have to convert it, and I haven't had any luck converting it. So if anybody's had luck actually getting a real ISO of PS1 Doom, let me know out there, and I'll try it out on this. But there you go. There's some Doom. Doom, 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 doom. It's weird hearing the Game Boy version of this, isn't it? There we go. Oh yeah, 2 buttons. I'm pretty impressed, actually, that number 1, they made this game for the Game Boy Advance, and that number 2, this is actually running it pretty decently. That's just crazy. Come on, you. So if you're questioning its Game Boy Advance gaming chops, not bad. Explode! Yeah, tore up from the floor up. Easiest first level ever. There you go. It runs Doom. So what's the verdict on the Powkiddy A12 Mini Arcade? Well, all in all, pretty good opinion of it. I'm happy with the plastics construction. It is really pretty decent. It's got heavy plastic. It's not cheap stuff, so it feels nice. The joystick feels great. It looks to be pretty much an arcade stick, a standard arcade stick inside. I did open this thing up. I should have recorded it. Don't know what I was thinking. These are not real arcade buttons, but they're near arcade buttons. I've seen these before on some handheld joysticks, and it holds up pretty decent. Plus, you can replace them. Not with real arcade ones because the hole's not big enough, but with more near arcade ones if for some reason this were to break down, which it doesn't really feel like it's going to. I thought the screen was pretty good. I've heard a couple complaints on Reddit about it, but it looks good, and I didn't see much tear, if any. I just think it's a decent screen. It fits the subject well, which is retro gaming. If I was playing like super high res games on it, it wouldn't be a great screen for that, but for these low res games, it's pretty good. I thought it ran quite a decent number of arcade games, and its console emulation was pretty decent across the board. Game Boy, I don't know why Game Boy emulation is never that great, but it wasn't winning any awards on this one either, but that's pretty common. It does run Afterburner 2, which is an arcade game that has given a lot of the handhelds fits, so that's nice, right? The only real complaints I have is with the firmware itself. It's built into the unit, so you're going to have to do an actual flash once there's an update available, or if there's ever an update available. There wasn't at the time of the recording of this video. To change things, you're going to have to go through some hoops, which I showed you, but you know, even though it's a big pain in the butt, I guess you could deal with it the way it is, but if you fix it up, it'd be really awesome. Finally coming down to the price, these things were originally around $200, and at $200 it was a little rough with some of the imperfections, but now this sucker's down to around $90, and I would say at $90 it's worth putting the elbow grease into to do it. Oh hey, did I mention the sound? The sound on this is freaking great. So really happy with that. Anyway, all in all, I think for the price, if you're willing to put the work in, you're really going to enjoy this thing. I think it's going to last for a while. Pretty decent system all around. And that's all I have to say about it. There's a link down below if you're interested in it. Special thanks to TomTop for sending it over when I requested it. I appreciate that. All right. I want to thank you guys very much for watching. If you enjoyed it, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe for more, and I'll see you in a couple days. Hey.